Hi everybody, I am Nomcity. I am a pay-to-play, occasionally mid-game player. I just broke into Conk 1 about a month ago. I am attempting to become a Guardian player. I'm really trying to get into YouTube as a side project. I'm in the Navy. I'm on shore duty. My job is really easy. I don't have a lot to do. So I'm here to make some content. And I really want to make content because I really, really enjoy Summoner's War. The variable schedule of reinforcement really got me hooked. I enjoy the feeling of progression. I didn't always. More on that later. I suffered in the early game to mid-game for a long time because I just thought summoning was the dream of dreams. And it didn't actually net me all too much, so since then I've moved on from my 750 crystals every few days to really pull that Zyros, which never happened. One of the main reasons I'm making this goal is I really want to show a linear path from Conk 1 to Guardian. I feel like a lot of people get in the Fighter 3, really starting to push phase of the game, and then they kind of branch out in all these different places because you have a lot pulling you. Do you do the Rift Beast? Do you do Necro? Do you really try to get your Giants team faster? What's the real way? And obviously, it's a game, so anybody can do what they want to do and play how they want to play. But like I said, I would like to demonstrate a linear path from my point right now to Guardian. Just a shout out right now to all the people who kind of have been posting content out there to get the game out. It's like Jubagel, Shredded Puzzle, Nightly Gaming, YDCB. And I particularly appreciate Orange Laugh Out Loud. If you haven't seen her YouTube channel, check it out, because she started her video, her Path to Decency series, which is awesome, at not even clearing TOA, or maybe just clearing TOA, and I can't exactly remember, but now she just hit Guardian 1 for the second time, so big props to her. Hoping to emulate kind of thing. So for all things for me, I really try to be like a student in all things. I know that sounds kind of lame because this is Summoner's War. It's like a cheesy mobile game, but I really believe that if you're passionate about something and you like it a lot, even if this is a hobby, I can still be passionate about it, and I want to basically share all the knowledge and content that I've currently done and want to do, and how I'm really going to push forward through it. So, and with Summoner's War being my current vice, I figure what better way to share what I know and what other people know, obviously, from Reddit and all the various other YouTubers out there. Video series will be just more like my journey from Conk 1 to Guardian to farming Homunculus, because I still haven't even really touched that, to really pushing the limits of what you can do and how to get there quickly. So I won't be covering everything from scratch. So if you're a newer player, I'm not going to be showing you a series where, like Nightly Gaming. If you're a newer player, go to Nightly Gaming's channel. He has a free to play progression guide that starts from the very beginning. Or like I mentioned before, Orange Laugh Out Loud's video series where she starts really, her very first video explains how she got to her point. I'm not really going to do that. But I will, at any point in time, if anybody has any questions in the comments, or if I ever Twitch stream, which I don't even know if I want to do that, but if I ever do anything like that, I'm down for any questions. Feel free to email me at Nomcity11. That's Nomcity, so my account name 1111 at gmail.com, and ask any questions, and I'll be perfectly willing to answer any questions you have or link any Reddit articles, because anything I say, I promise you, has already been said before for beginners, but not everybody wants to do linear progression, and that's cool. So any questions you have, please feel free to ask, or any advice, because I'm just getting into this. So that's a big reason. Like I said, I was really in the, as I mentioned previously, I was really in the anti-progression mindset for a long time, where you just summon, and everything you do is about getting Zyros, and for a while, I wouldn't call, I don't have any game-changing Nat 5s, I don't think. I have Chiwu, but I pulled it as my first Nat 5. And let me talk about disappointed when you're like, Nat 5, yeah, this thing is going to wreck everybody. And then you're like, what is an AoE stripper at level 10? It's nothing. It doesn't do a lot for you. So Um, I was always trying to pull like all those OP monsters that people always talked about, and I didn't really get that runes were the key to like the game, everything. Like runes make the game. So obviously that'll be a big focus. So one of the things I want to talk about in the future, in one of my very next videos, probably my next video, will be the rune optimizer. Talk about game changing for me. It really opened my eyes to talk about broken sets, like or sets you wouldn't think of for your monsters. Like everybody is stuck on this like rage blade for every DD, and it's there's just no way that if you're mid game you have good rage sets. Like there's zero way, I think, if you're farming to what I think would get you the most progression. All right, so we can talk about where I'm at in the game and the content that I've cleared and everything. As you can see, I'm in the top 10,000 right now, but it's arena. It was arena reset week, and people are kind of slow to get up there. And I haven't really been pushing it very hard. I've been really lazy with my wings. And we'll talk more about my Conk 1 team at that time, or the team that I'm using for Conk 1. So we'll start out with the basics, right? We'll go GB10, Lucian, Vermos, Bella, Bastet, and Sig. So obviously Lucian is a lead. He's not fully skilled up. I stopped skilling him up after he got surprise box. Eventually I'll return to him, but I just have so many nat 5s that I haven't, and I really even need to skill up my second Lucian. But pretty easy. He's on basically full, well, I guess energy blade broken. When I was going through the rune optimizer, he was full broken, except he was blade broken, but I was able to get like 2,000 more health on him, I think, with the extra HP. So I went ahead and did that, but pretty easy. He's attack, crit damage attack. Yeah, so I just want to go over the fact that these runes are far from perfect. Like this is a really, really bad rune. I don't have a lot of slot 6 runes. It's like one of my biggest weaknesses, good slot 6 runes. And trust me, I'm trying to farm them, but they're just not dropping, and sometimes that's the case. But like, obviously, no crit damage on it. Defense percent is really bad for Lucian. If you're going to want anything in Arena, it's going to be HP percent. I think that's a shredded puzzle theory that I'm all on board with, is that once you get defense broken, like all that extra defense goes out the window. So better just to have effective HP. Yep. So that's Lucian's runes, and don't worry, I'm gonna have a rune showcase. Like when I do the rune optimizer video, we're gonna go over all my monsters' runes and everything. But just a quick look at the basic stuff. I have Vermos pretty quick, 210 speed, 22,000 HP, and I don't even have all of his runes maxed. Like I don't think that's an okay rune because it has 15 speed. Other than that, it's really not good. That's an okay rune, but like I said, nothing too amazing. I don't have that plus 12. I probably should have 17 speed on it as a violent rune, just to see what it goes. You got Bella, so almost 200 speed. Over 20,000 HP, over 1k defense. So that's actually something I should mention. I really want Vermos and Bella over 1k defense and over 20k HP. Those are pretty basic. Vermos actually kind of has low base HP, so and Bella too. But compared to a lot of other, at least for Vermos, compared to a lot of other nat 5s, he has pretty low base HP. Like his base HP is only 500 more, or actually, is 600 less than Bella's. And Bella's a nat 3, so he kind of has a low base HP for good reason, I think, because otherwise, if you could really HP stack and get him to like 40k HP really easily, then he would be a nightmare, I feel like, in AD. But Bastet, I have Bastet. I was lucky enough to get her on a will set, so I have Bastet, Swift Will, Speed, Defense, HP. Right around 200 speed, 210 speed. So I really would like to get Bastet faster. I really would, because I use her in Arena. I would like to be able to get her in around 240 speed, 245 speed. I just don't really have the Swift runes to get her higher, so that's what I have. And then Sig is on a pretty simple build attack. So attack, crit damage attack on a Swift set, because that got to me to at least like 150 speed. And I try to 150 speed is the minimum I try to put DDs on. Something I would actually like to get better, which is kind of odd, is the accuracy on Sig, just because she has chance to stun and freeze and debuff. So that's something I could work on. Yep, but that's it. My average time is a minute 40. My best time has been, I think it's, well, I guess we can run a set right here. Hopefully, it doesn't have 100% win rate. Sometimes I get unlucky with the debuff proc in the very beginning. Pretty much I know by the boss's first turn if it's a success. But yeah, I think my next step, and I'm having a really hard time progressing into speedruns, because I think I actually have some decent runes to try it, but the one thing I don't really have is a galleon, and that's actually pretty devastating, I feel like, because like I really don't want to bring Bastet here, but like I bring Bastet and Bella only to supply the attack buff and the defense break, and then if I'm going to bring an attack buff, I might as well bring an attack bar booster and shield. So I bring Bastet, right? So like a lot of times when I use my rep monsters, I like sub out Bella, right? And since I'm not like super concerned with having a 1 minute time right now, since I'm occasionally pay to play, as I mentioned. By the way, not as a shameless plug, but anything I make from this channel will go back into the game until I'm Guardian. I'll showcase Giants. Now, my Giants team is pretty cookie cutter. You have the Verd. I haven't built Tanky just because he always dies. I don't have good enough damage overall, I think, on my Sig, even though this is a pretty popular team. I'm not really sure. Like, I see people use this team all the time, and I don't feel like their rune quality is necessarily a ton better. It could be that their Verd is tanky and does damage, but I've literally not done anything with my Vertihill except for make him my Giants lead my Dragons lead. But yeah, he's pretty basic build, speed, crit rate, and HP, because I wanted more speed, or I wanted more health. I wanted to get to 20,000 HP. And he's just at that. I really could. The problem is I don't want to take away good violent damage dealer runes away from other people who might have them. Like I had a decent set on Leica. I've since almost deruned Leica because I shifted priorities and took some of his runes away to give the Jalin, I think. But yep, and then next I have Megan. She's not even 6-star, and this team has a lower success rate than I want it. But my 100% team is like 4 minutes, and I'm just not about that life. I just recently switched to this team, and I was running Sig, Lead, Leica, Pheromos, Bella, Bastet, and it was like a 3.5 to 4 minute team, and it was just too long for me. Come free rune removal, I'm going to switch Megan to Violent, because I will have all the runes. I think I farmed a ton of Violent runes and stuff like that, and I think I can get her to about 210 speed on Violent, so faster than she is now, and on Violent. I just don't want to spend the mana right now to do it. Yep, but right now she's, right around 200 speed, HP. We already went over my Baramos, my Bella, and my 6 runes, so pretty basic, so we'll run one, and hopefully it doesn't fail and embarrass me. Yeah, so again, kind of the same problem I have with speed teams, because I actually think I could build Verd on a damage build and still get 100 crit rate. I pretty much know I could, but I could build a Tark. Like, I could build a Tark, I could build double Tark, I could run Verd, double Tark, Sig Galleon, maybe, or something like that. I'm not sure about the Sig portion, but I would look up a couple of speed teams with double Tark Galleon, but like I said, I don't have a Galleon, so squeezing in an attack buff and a defense buff, it really limits you. Like, my main goal is just to improve this team. Like I said, mainly my Sig. The one thing I don't like about my Sig is that my Sig has really low Crit damage for somebody who scales so well off of crit damage. So I really need to improve that. But just kind of waiting for the drops. And also, it's not, I wouldn't call any of my, it sounds kind of weird, but I wouldn't call any of my dungeon teams because they're successful and they clear. I don't call any of them, they're not my current priority. And we'll go over what my priorities are in a little bit. And while this is talking, I can kind of talk about some of the other things. So TOA normal is on farm. I cleared it for the first time about 3 months ago. And that's kind of when I really started to focus on progression. And you can kind of see a big difference. Like 3 months ago, I cleared TOA for the first time. And I've owned, I guess I should go back and say this. I've owned and been a player of this game for a really, really long time, like maybe a year and a half. But probably the actual, like it would be like I played it for like a month or two and spent a bunch of money in summons, and then I didn't. Then I stopped playing it for a while. It's kind of on and off. So actual progression based, like when I came back to the game, maybe about 4 months ago, I could clear GB10. I had like a 6-minute DB10 team, which was just painful. And then I could go to like TOA 70, I think. This is about 4, maybe 5 months ago, 4.5. And then 3 months ago, I finally cleared TOA for the first time. Yeah, so 222. It usually averages around 230. Sometimes if Sig dies on like the Zyra stage, then if I'm paying attention, I switch and I just kill the tower first, and then that usually takes about 315. Just so I don't. Sometimes I just lose. But let's see here. Okay, so yeah, so I have TOA normal completed, and since then my rune progression has gone up so much that I don't have a TOA normal team anymore. I actually, let's see if I can show you. I can pretty much, I don't know what my last team was. That's hard. I really need to work on hard this month. I saw the Sierra and I was just really unsure if I could beat it, and I just don't know. So this is what I used on the final boss stage, just because I wanted to basically not worry about it. But I think for almost all of TOA, I use Lucian, Charlotte, Bastet, Mantura for the AoE defense break, Bastet for the attack buff, and then my second Lucian. And if I didn't use my second Lucian, I think as I got to like TOA 80 or more, when I started to, because for a long time I was just autoing it with these damage dealers, but eventually they're just not too smart. And I think Sig, so I think that's what I use. So TOA hard, so my highest completed of TOA hard is TOA hard 89. That was not last month, because last month Artemiel just ruined me. But the month before that, when it was the light OG girls, just prior to their nerf. But I mean, honestly, I could barely touch the stage. There was the second stage, I think, which is like all fire monsters, and I can't remember. It could be triple wrap, double seek. I can't, but it is 5 fire monsters, and it was really difficult for my team. And I'll kind of show you why. It was difficult for my team. This is pretty much what I run for all of TOA hard past the stages where I can nuke them, because I kind of nuke, I think, to maybe around 50. We can go over the runes a little bit. Jameer's pretty tanky, 26,000 HP, 1,300 defense. You can get 10 more speed on him, and so that'll put him at 168 speed when I max the rune, which isn't terrible. It's going to be a lot better. Like when I go and show you my rune optimizer next video, I've with the runes I have right now, assuming I don't get any upgrades, I've got some big changes planned, basically. And I really update the rune optimizer probably once a week, just because it's something to do. I might do it less now if I'm making more videos, but I think I have a plan to get Jameer basically to 31,000 HP and 1,200 defense and about 210 speed, which would be great. The biggest problem about that is now I need to make every monster on my TOA team faster because you really want Jameer to go last. So we can reset everybody's cooldowns, obviously. So this week, when I make it to 80, I will definitely be making a video of me trying to 80, and I'll show you all the reasons I fail, and hopefully, eventually, I can show you a reason I didn't fail, whether it be RNG or strategy. I'll take either one, to be honest. 300 crystals is a juicy prize, and the attempt for 90, because usually the middle stages are no problem if you make it to 80 with your team, unless there's something like the Achroma stage or something like that keeps a lot of people stuck, or the Ragdoll stages and everything. And I don't think there is this month. I don't think between 80 and 90 there's anything significant. So that's awesome. Let's see, what else are we going to talk about? Okay, so this goes into my kind of my goals. I had R4 on farm. Pretty much, but I always had a really low contribution. I wasn't really ever happy with it, so I used Brienne's Bastet in the front line, because actually I had Bastet on Swift Revenge for a while. I really wasn't utilizing her potential in Arena, and so her first skill is an attack break. So I had her on Swift Revenge, and I had Brienne just tanky stats. I think he was still Despair, and he could take the front line, and he has a couple of debuffs, so it's all good. And then I had Hua, obviously, for the slow and the damage and the attack bar reduction. I had Ravidi for the cleanse, and I'm going to talk more about that in general, because I'm not sure. I had Ravidi solo cleansing, and I just don't know if you can do that. It's a reason. That's one reason I have Kona sitting at 4-star max, and I really could. I don't know if I could 6-star at any time, but close to being able to 6-star the next person. And I basically have to decide if it's going to be Ravidi or Kona. So I need to do that research, and I've tried, but a lot of people who run Ravidi also run Mi Yang, the water Skydancer, and I don't know if I can do that. Well, actually, I can't. I don't have her. But even if I had her, I don't know if I have the runes to be able to do that. So I just don't know if you can solo cleanse. And then I ran Chassoon. So I really am switching. I really spent the last month just really grinding out dragons, DB10 for Violent and Revenge runes. And I'm going to run Colleen, Ravidi, Dias, because I'm really hoping for a Hall of Heroes Anniversary Dias event. If not, I'm ready to 6-star, not ready, but I'm going to 6-star Darien. So it'll be Darien or Dias, and Ravidi, Chassoon, and Colleen on Triple Revenge, and Chassoon and Ravidi on Violent. Front line, and then back line I'm going to run Hua and Xiaolin. Sorry, I'm like burning energy, and it like drives me crazy when I'm at max energy and it's not ticking. I'm not getting anymore for what I'm doing. But basically, I farmed it to get a speed R4 at a minimum. I've been farming dragons and just to get a speed R4 and hopefully an R5.
So this is a brief look at what like kind of what the rune optimizer looks like. And this is kind of like what I have planned for the next one so far. Obviously, hopefully we get improvements between now and it might even be next weekend for free rune removal. So I'll be grinding mainly for mana the next week. But that was just like a brief look.
So we can kind of talk about now my Conk 1 arena offense. As soon as I'm done with this, it's pretty simple. Sorry for everybody who can't run this team, but I run a variation of Bernard, Lucian, Megan. So Bernard, double Lucian, attack bar booster, basically, with an attack buff. So really, Megan and Bastet really fit that role, and Bastet was a huge improvement for me once I started using her, and especially once I put her on Will. I'll showcase, though, obviously the Will helps, like Leo teams I feel like are really lazy in the arena. Like I think out of like maybe the 50 Leo teams I've fought in the past month, like maybe one has outsped me because they're all Leo reliant. And so big props to people who still have the 280 speed Bernard, 270 plus speed Bernard, and have a Leo. That's unexpected. You would beat me every time. We'll showcase, or we'll, no, not replay. We'll look at that right now. So my Bernard needs a lot of work, right? And he's only 265, and I want to get 10 more speed added to that. And I can show you some of the runes why. This rune is awful. Any 6-star that double upgrades into speed, unless it all minimum rolls, will pretty much equate to this rune. Unless it gets minimum average, which is 13, or minimum, like, it will be better than this rune. This rune, I think I had 2 or 3 grinded on it when I really didn't understand how valuable Swift speed grinds were. When I was really kind of just getting into R4, I got it. And that's the only Swift speed one I think I've ever gotten. So this one, it only has 15 speed. Again, like, you're looking at a +6, like 18 isn't like asking for too much. So really I could get 3 speed there. This is a pretty nice rune. Speed 19. And again, my Bernard is all about just being as fast as possible, right? But yeah, so I mean, I could have a lot better runes in a lot of places. I just want to get 10 more speed before grinds. I think the only rune right now I would grind is maybe this one, because my highest speed runes of anything are still 19. I still have yet to break my 20 speed cherry on runes. So hopefully that'll happen. And I have 2 Lucians. I have a slower Lucian and a faster Lucian, and I really did that because that's what people suggested to counter Nemesis healers. But it turns out that my Lucians just don't hit hard enough anyway to really proc Nemesis, unless they don't. They just don't, really. Especially the level I'm at. I usually end up around rank 8,000 at the end of the week right now, but I kind of already showed you my Lucian. We'll just say, but he's speed tuned at 162, barely speed tuned. Like, if I got 1 more speed off my Bernard, he would not be speed tuned. From this Lucian, my first going Lucian is faster than 170 speed, and I actually just switched his runes around to put Will on him. So I lost like 10 attack, but gained 4%. I lost 10% attack and gained 4% crit rate. And I will be able to make him 178, almost 180 speed. And he's on Will, which definitely helps a lot. Like, I'm not scared of Monkey King teams, really, but the revenge on the first Lucian is kind of crappy. So I don't want to... It's going to really help me not to get stunned. Because, honestly, that second surprise box round can end up saving a lot of fights that look really bad. And then, obviously, I run Bastet, and she's on a Swift Will set, and not that fast, but still speed synced with Bernard. So she doesn't need to be terribly fast if you're going to win in the first round. I wanted to get her to 240 to help in those teams where, like, I end up with, like, a Rakan and a Chassoon. And it would really help me to keep for the shield uptime, because Rakan, obviously, when you run triple wind and into a Rakan, it can get dicey if the Rakan is on Vampire. But that's basically it. I think that's going to wrap up my video for now. I've shown you the basics of everything, of where I'm at, and now the rest of it will be looking forward to seeing where we can get to.